My name is Harold, and I am 72 years old. On March 15, 2025, I'm died at my desk in my study in Oklahoma while preparing a sermon about the tribulation, never imagining Jesus would reveal the 3 sins that had cost me everything. The sins are not just mine. I know they are ours. I know that sounds bad for a pastor to say, but after 40 years of preaching, I was tired. Not the kind of tired sleep that makes you feel better. The kind that settles into your bones when you've seen everything you loved slowly fall apart. 3 years before this happened, my wife, Margaret, died. We had been married for 48 years. She used to sit in the 3rd pew on the right and smile at me during church services. I kept looking at that empty seat after she died. Every Sunday. The church felt colder without her presence. I still said my prayers every night, but at some point it started to feel like I was talking to an empty room when I prayed. I'd say the words, "Wait for something," and feel nothing back. Nothing but silence. The worst part? I became bitter. I didn't think it would happen, but it did. I would see younger pastors on their phones during conferences and think, they don't care about this. I'd see people leave church early and think bad things about them. I would tell myself, no one cares anymore. I even thought that God had given up on America. In the church, perhaps on me as well. I turned into the kind of person I used to tell people not to be. Very important. Chilly. He thought everyone else was the problem. That night, I was the only one in my study. The house was too quiet, which it always is now. I had a lot of notes in front of me for a guest sermon at a different church, but my chest felt full. Not just in a physical way, in an emotional way, like carrying something heavy that I couldn't name. I remember saying to God, what happened to us? What happened to me? Then the pain came. It hurt a lot, like my chest was in a vice. I tried to grab my phone, but my arm wouldn't move the right way. I tried to get up, but my legs gave out. I fell forward and hit my face on the desk. I saw my sermon notes flying all over the floor. The last thing I said was barely a whisper. Lord, what happened to us? Then it all went dark. The dark didn't last long. I could feel myself getting up, not my body, me, the real me. I was getting up from my desk and I could see everything below. My body fell over my notes. My reading glasses were crooked on my face. The light is still on. It should have scared me, but it didn't. I felt light instead. It felt light, like I had been carrying heavy bags my whole life and finally let them go. The pain in my chest was gone. The tiredness that had been in my bones for years. It's gone. Even the pain in my heart from missing Margaret. Gone. The walls in my study began to fade. It was like someone was turning off the lights in one world and turning them on in another. Everything got both soft and bright at the same time. After that, I was in a field. Not a field in Oklahoma. This was not the same. The grass shone like gold, but not like paint. As if it had light in it. The sky wasn't blue. It was all the colors I'd ever seen, plus some I didn't know the names of. They moved like water, softly and with life. I just stood there and looked. My mouth was open like a kid's when they saw snow for the first time. The air felt like it was full of love. I know that sounds strange, but I can't think of another way to say it. It felt like someone was holding me every time I breathed. After that, I saw him. Jesus was coming toward me across the field. Like you know your own name, I knew it was him. His face was kind but serious. Not mad. It's just truth coming toward me as a person. My legs stopped working. I fell to my knees, and everything I had been holding in for years came out. I began to cry, not tears that are quiet. I heard deep, shaking sobs coming from a place I didn't know existed. "Harold," he said. His voice was soft, like a father talking to a scared child. I couldn't talk. I couldn't even look up. I couldn't do anything but cry. He knelt down next to me and put his hand on my shoulder. That touch. I felt it go through my whole body. Every hard part of my heart began to break open. I felt safe for the first time in years. "Harold," he said again, "you preached my word, but you forgot my heart." I looked up at him, and tears were still running down my face. He smiled at her, sad but full of love. "Let me show you something." When Jesus raised his hand, the golden field around us changed. It was like windows opening in the air, and I was watching scenes happen. People who are real. Places that are real. I could feel them happening right now, in a place I had just left. The first scene made me cry. I could see a hospital room. An old woman was in bed with her eyes open, looking at the ceiling. There was a phone on the table next to her. It never rang. A young man in a wheelchair sat by himself in a common area down the hall. People walked by him with their eyes glued to their phones. Nobody stopped. Everyone was serious. After that, the scene changed. A place for nursing. People waiting in rows of rooms, just sitting there. Some people had families who said they would come, but never did. Some people didn't have anyone left. "Do you see them, Harold?" Jesus asked in a soft voice. I nodded, but my throat was tight. He said, "This is the sin of not caring. My people are used to pain now." The scene changed once more. I saw a young mom parked outside a grocery store and scrolling through her phone in her car. An old man had fallen inside the store. People stepped around him, annoyed that he was in the way. Finally, one person helped, but only after a few other people had walked by. I saw churches with full parking lots but empty hearts. On Sunday, people sang songs of worship, but on Monday they drove by the homeless man without even looking at him. I saw kids whose parents were too busy to pay attention to them. I saw neighbors who lived next to each other for years but never learned each other's names. Jesus said, "Indifference is the frost that kills compassion." It sneaks in slowly. People don't just wake up one day and stop caring. They just get to work, weary, too much to handle. They think that someone else will help, that they can't fix everything. And one by one, hearts grow cold. I felt shame burning in my chest. How many times had I passed someone who needed help? How many people in my own church had I stopped really seeing? "But Lord," I whispered, "the world is so broken. There is a lot of pain. How can we—" "One heart at a time," he said softly. "That's how darkness works, Harold. It makes you think the problem is too big, so you don't do anything. But love works the same way. One person stops. One person sees. Someone cares. And that light spreads out." He looked at me with eyes full of what I can only call fierce tenderness. "I didn't ask you to fix everything in the world. I told you to love the person in front of you. The enemy says that your kindness doesn't matter. But every act of love is a blow against apathy. My kingdom breaks through every time someone chooses to really see another person. The scene changed again, and my stomach dropped. I saw churches breaking up, not because of religion or the Bible, but because of politics and pride. I saw how social media posts broke up friendships that had lasted for decades. Brother versus brother, sister versus sister. They all said they had the truth, but their words were full of hate. I saw a church board meeting where people yelled at each other about who to vote for. I saw families stop talking to each other because they voted differently. I saw people who believed in God calling each other enemies, traitors, and blind. Jesus said, "The sin of division." And I could hear pain in his voice. My followers show the world hate, not love. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't. Do you see what the enemy has done? Jesus went on. He doesn't have to tear down the church from the outside. He just needs to make you fight with each other. He whispers that being right is more important than being kind, that winning the argument is more important than winning the heart. And slowly, my body is falling apart. I thought about the younger pastors I had judged, the people I had called lukewarm, the denominations I had written off as weak. I said, I was doing it too, my voice breaking. I was so sure I was right, so sure that everyone else had gone off course. Jesus knelt down next to me again. Harold, there is an enemy who loves to cause trouble. He knows that a house that is split can't stay up. He plants seeds of doubt, pride, and self-righteousness. He makes you think that being right is the same as being good. But I never told you to be right at the cost of love. What do we do to fight it? I asked. Humility, he said simply. The enemy can't split a humble heart. You can be united when you're willing to listen, learn, and admit that you might not see the whole picture. Above all else, I told my people to love one another. Don't always agree. Don't think the same way. Love. He stood up and pointed to the things around us. Harold, I'm always working. Even though things are hard and I'm hurting, I'm giving my kids chances to choose love. Every fight is a chance to be kind. Every time you disagree, you have a chance to choose unity over being right. Every relationship that ends badly is a chance to forgive. I never stop giving people chances. That's how much I care about them. The last scene came on, and it was the hardest to watch. I saw faces that had lost all hope. A veteran sits in a dark apartment, looking at a gun on the table. A teenage girl in a bathroom cutting herself because she thought no one would care if she went missing. A single mother who had just finished work and was crying in her car because she didn't know how she would feed her kids the next day. An old man stands by his wife's grave and whispers, "I'll be with you soon." They all had gray skies above them. Not real skies. Ones that are spiritual. The heaviness of hopelessness felt like a thick fog. Despair is the third sin, Jesus said softly. The loss of faith in my mercy. Darkness grows when hope dies. I knew what that look in their eyes meant. I had seen it in my own mirror after Margaret died. This is the enemy's best weapon, Jesus said. He doesn't need to make people say no to me. He just needs to convince them that I've forgotten about them, that their prayers don't mean anything, that change can't happen, that they're too broken, too far gone, and too late. I cried as I saw a young man walk into a church, then turn around and leave because he thought God couldn't love someone like him. But it's not true, Harold. Everything. I never leave them behind. I'm always there for them, even when things are at their worst. Finding ways for them to have hope again. Putting people in their way. When the lies get too loud, whisper the truth. I never stop pursuing. Jesus turned all the way around to face me. The trouble that everyone is afraid of, not with beasts or trumpets. Here it begins. He put his hand on my chest. In the cooling of hearts, that's when darkness really takes over, when my people stop caring, stop coming together, and stop hoping. But the same thing happens at the start of a revival. In one heart that decides to love again, to forgive again, to have hope again. I felt something change inside of me. All the anger, the judgment, and the giving up were breaking apart. I don't want to go back, I said softly. It's so hard there, so broken. Jesus smiled, and it was a smile that showed he understood. I understand. But Harold, they need to hear this, not as a sign of doom, as a way to get people to live again. Tell them that both trouble and revival start in the heart. Let them know I'm still making chances, still going after it, still in love. He put both of his hands on my shoulders. Go back. Love the people I put in your way. Ask those you have judged for forgiveness. Bring my people together and tell them, I'm not done with this world yet. I could feel myself fading away. Don't forget, Harold, one heart at a time, starting with yours. I woke up gasping and my chest hurt. Lights that are very bright, machines that beep. A nurse's surprised face was above me. You're up. Sir, you're in the hospital. You had a heart attack. Can you hear me? I could hardly talk. After feeling light, my body felt heavy and slow. But I was able to whisper, Jesus showed me what's coming if we don't love again. I felt a lot of pain in the first few days. I had been in perfect love and perfect peace, but now I was back in this broken world full of pain and limits. I cried by myself in that hospital bed because I missed him so much it hurt. But I remembered what he had said, one heart at a time, beginning with my own. I called Pastor Mike from the modern church across town first. I had been critical of him for years, calling his style entertainment instead of worship. I was shaking as I dialed. Hey, Mike, it's Harold. Please forgive me. I was wrong to be angry and judgmental toward you. There was no sound. After that, I heard him crying on the other end. I've wanted your approval for so long, Harold. We had coffee the next week. After that, we began to pray together every Tuesday. Other pastors joined soon after, different religious groups, different ways. But it's still the same Jesus. I changed the way I thought about people. That woman who was moving slowly in the store. I stopped being impatient. I helped her put groceries in her car, and I found out her name was Dorothy. For weeks, she hadn't had a real conversation. The man who lived on the street that I used to drive by, I began to stop. His name is Carl. He has served in the military. I now bring him coffee and listen. I go to the nursing home every Thursday, not to preach, just to be with people, to see them. We talk sometimes, we hold hands sometimes, but no one sits alone on Thursdays anymore. My sermons changed as well, fewer charts of prophecy, love more. I tell people what Jesus told me. The tribulation starts when hearts get cold, but revival starts when one heart chooses love. I am 75 years old. My chest still hurts sometimes,
which reminds me that I won't be here forever. But I'm not scared anymore. I know where I'm headed. I know who is waiting for me there. And I have work to do until He calls me home again. One person at a time. One act of love at a time. One heart at a time. Because Jesus is still pursuing, still creating chances, still loving every single one of His children. And He's asking us to do the same.